Thank you. Welcome to all of you in the room, and also welcome to our audience online. My name is Nigten. I'm member of the ISEA board, and I'm acting as the treasurer. And let me first iron out some confusion that may have arose over the last couple of days. ISEA will not change its name. ISEA, of course, stands for International Symposium for the Electronic Arts. However, the board feels that it's time to reload and be more playful using the ISEA acronym. In this way, we aim to be more inclusive and also to refer to other non-electronic forms of emerging arts, such as bio-arts, or maybe in the near future, we will use the E for experimental art. And in that way, we will open up our community without leaving our electronic arts path and history. So that's just to make that one clear. And yeah, this is our agenda for today. It's quite overviewable. I first would like to introduce especially the new board members and the current board members of the ISEA board. Then we will have an update from our new headquarters by Jim Smitty, and then the organizers of the ISEA 2024 team are also with us here in Paris, and they will tell you all about the upcoming ISEA in Brisbane in 24. And then we will have our new hosts of the just selected ISEA 2025 team in South Korea presenting their kind of brand new accepted proposal. So let me first get to the board members, and I would like to ask Irandi Vergara to join me on stage so people also online can see who you are. Hello. And Irandi is the chair of ISEA International Board, and she's assistant professor in the Faculty of the Fine Arts and Communication at the McEwan University, and she is a curator. So we're really happy to have you here as our new chair. So a big applause for Irandi. Thank you so much. And if you want to sit down, yeah, that's okay. And also new in the board is Everardo Reis. And Everardo, if you want to join me here so people see who you are, welcome. And Everardo is the secretary of the ISEA International Board, and is Professor of Information and Communication Sciences and co-director of the Masters in Digital Humanities here at Paris. So really, really nice. So a big applause for Everardo. Yeah, cool, thank you. And the next new board member I would like to introduce is Lisa Park. Is Lisa here? Lisa? No, not yet. So she's probably networking her way around here at ISEA in Paris. And Lisa is a postdoc researcher, producer and curator and an artist. And she is currently living in Hong Kong. So although she is not with us, a big hand for Lisa. And the current board members who are there for a while, I really would like to represent to you again Pat Bedani, who is already at the ISEA International Board for quite a while and liaison for many editions of ISEA. Pat, big hand for Pat. She is a researcher, an academic, and an artist. Just that you know that most of the... there's Lisa. Lisa, that's Lisa. Lisa, lovely that you're here. Thank you, thank you. Cool. And Ricardo, you're also already quite a while on the board, Ricardo Del Faro. So a big hand for Ricardo, who was a researcher, professor, and fantastic curator, and a good connection to South America and everything. So, and like Pat, Ricardo's been a liaison for many ISEA editions in the recent past. So fantastic that you are here. I don't think Roger Molina is in the room. Okay, he's not here, but he is also still at the board of ISEA. Probably you've met him in one of his presentations this week. And me, I'm Anne Nigten, the treasurer of ISEA. And oh yeah, big hand for me, of course, of course. Thank you, thank you. Wow, this audience. And I will soon be replaced by Michel van Dartel. And that brings me to the future board members of ISEA International, because Michel van Dartel is a professor at Avans University in the Netherlands and director of V2. So please present yourself, Michel. There we go. Thank you. And Tanja Raaf-Ank, and I don't know if she is online. She maybe not, but she is a Danish curator and scholar, and she is going to join the ISEA International Board pretty soon. She's been, like Michel, on the International Advisory Committee for some time already. So we're welcoming the soon new future members. And now I would like to hand over to Jim, because one thing first, online there's also Jeremiah Ambrose from Ireland and the UK, and we since last year we have a new headquarters hosted by the University for the Creative Arts in the UK, and the director of our headquarters is Jeremiah Ambrose. And unfortunately, Jeremiah could not join us here in Paris, but for this special occasion, he sent his colleague as a delegate, and Jim Smithy. He will present what the headquarters have been doing in the last year, or almost since September. There you go, Jim.
Thank you very much. It's been a genuine pleasure to be here in proxy for Jeremiah. And as Anne just said, I'm just going to outline some of the things that HQ have been involved in. So the new website is a reconstruction and an updated vision based on the fundamentals and ethos of the previous ISEA International website. And it celebrates and incorporates the rich years of development. For example, the recently added history page, which details the early origins of this symposium. If you haven't seen it, it'd be really good to have a look, I'd say. And the new website celebrates the work of ISEA International contributors over the years. The website header changes at each visit, showing images from previous symposiums. And many of those who have been shown in the header have relived their ISEA International Symposium memories, seeing their memories anew on the header. And the design of the new website aims to reconnect and further build on communities, the ISEA communities around the globe. So to enable a consistent global dialogue of ISEA International Symposiums year on year, we now have one Instagram account, a Facebook page and LinkedIn account for our community to continually engage, connect and communicate. In utilising the social media, ISEA International has devised specific designated areas from practical aspects such as proposal submissions to even shared seasonal greetings. And very importantly in this process, Alia and Claudia, who are two alumni from working with ISEA International headquarters at the University for the Creative Arts, have been instrumental in devising, implementing and maintaining these exciting new website and social media developments. And Alia, as well as implementing creative changes, has devised and realised the augmented reality filter that you can access here and now on your phone through the ISEA International Instagram. And again, if you haven't had a little go on that, I thoroughly advise it. It's good fun.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Jim. That was lovely. Then we move to the next part of this annual meeting. Not used to paper anymore, sorry about that. So we are really happy to have the ISEA 2024 team from Nigten. Now I probably misunnounce it, but they will reveal why I still have to get used to this name of the city where they're hosting ISEA. Please come to the stage, the team from Queensland University of Technology, Kevin, Zaid, Riwa Wright, Vanessa van Ooyen and Anastasia Tuyarina. And we will have Wesley Innock joining us by video. I hand over the microphone to you. I'm really thrilled to hear more about this new upcoming edition of ISEA. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm honoured to be here, and I have to admit, quite nervous to be presenting about the 29th edition of ISEA. I'm Gavin Zaid, and Zaid is the Australian version of Sade or Sade for the French in the room. I don't speak any French, but I do have French origins in the distant past. So it's my pleasure to be here and to be here with the team. I think I'm doing all the talking, am I? Mm-hmm. Yep, so I'll do all the talking and they'll be here for some questions afterwards. It's been a long journey to ISEA 2024. We started conversations with Ernest and Linda in, I think, 2018, 2019, and then, like everyone, COVID occurred. And it wasn't until sometime after that we were notified that we were accepted for the bid. However, my journey to ISEA in 2024 started a lot longer ago. At TISEA, the third symposium of electronic art in Sydney in, I'm going to say 1993, I could be wrong, as two? Okay, that's a better memory than I have. I was quite young and I remember very little of it, but I do have a recollection of meeting someone who would go on to be a colleague and a mentor at that ISEA, and hearing his talk at ISEA really changed the direction in my career. At the time I was working in dot-com startups. I was an average musician and it inspired me to venture into the electronic arts. From there I've presented work in Belfast, Istanbul, and then just over 20 years later at ISEA in Sydney, I reconnected with that same colleague and friend who I hadn't seen for over a decade. So ISEA, for me, has been a place of a community and connection. So I find that really important part of this community. So returning now to talk about 2024, I regularly speak in Australia in halls like this, and if you're familiar with the customs in Australia, it is customary to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land where you are gathered. So I'm going to acknowledge the Turrbal and Yagara, who are the traditional owners of the lands where the university where we work stands in Meanjin or Brisbane. I'll talk a little bit about Meanjin later. But ISEA in 2024 will occur on many countries, not just the Turrbal and Yagara lands. Australia isn't a singular nation. And our thinking about how to host ISEA back in Australia started with a single question, almost a provocation. What does it mean to host ISEA on country? What does it mean to host a self-described nomadic conference about research and the creative arts originating from the global north on country in the south, on country of the longest surviving living culture? So this is where, in a welcome to an acknowledgement to country, it is also customary to acknowledge the traditional elders emerging past, present and future. And in planning ISEA, I've really had the privilege to work with my co-director, Wesley Enoch, who is a Quandamooka man, and Quandamooka is an island just off the coast of Brisbane or Meanjin. Wesley apologises and really sincerely couldn't make it. He's held up. He is in Europe next month. His schedule is far busier than mine. He's been doing a lot of work on the cultural advice to the Voice in Australia. So those familiar with Australia at the moment, there is a lot of discussion about a referendum that will be held at the end of the year, which will be voting on changing our constitution to introduce a voice to Parliament for the Indigenous population of the country. And this is a really significant national debate at the moment. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to introduce Wesley. He's going to talk about ISEA and how the theme every when comes together. Well, one more.
Hello. I'm Wesley Enoch. And welcome to Brisbane, a place that we call Meanjin. Meanjin means the point of the spear, the place that juts out. Here in Meanjin, which is literally the place that juts out into the river, we'll be playing host to ISEA 2024. Meanjin is a place of learning, of teaching now, where the QUT campus is. And behind us you can see Old Government House, the house of the governor when the colonial project was started here in this place. And before then, it was a gathering place for Aboriginal people to share food and to make ceremony. The river is a very important part of this city as it snakes its way through, winding around the city. We call it Mewa. And just across here is where people would travel across the river, holding their children above themselves to go to the wetlands, the food places that are just across. The river will also act as a way of holding ISEA 2024 together, from the University of Queensland through to our major cultural centre with our State Library, Art Gallery, Museum and Performing Arts Centre. South Bank, which is a family entertainment and gathering space, and behind that the Brisbane Entertainment and Convention Centre, which will host our symposium. Also, a bit further down the river, there'll be the Griffith Art Museum. And across the river here at QUT, a number of sites will have lots of different activities at Old Government House, the Cube, and also the QUT Art Museum. Follow the river around a bit further, we'll come to the Brisbane Powerhouse, which is a reclaimed powerhouse, now an arts and cultural centre. And a bit further around, a few wines come to North Shore, where Super Ordinary will be playing host to a range of local and national artists in residency and installations. ISEA 2024 has at its theme Every When. The theme Every When is about how land is important, place is important. And in many ways, place is where story and history sit. At the time of all creation, all the stories that were ever going to be told were placed in the landscape. And as Aboriginal people believe, we sit on the landscape and remember the time of creation. We don't create from nowhere. So in many ways, land is the constant, not time. Time is a layering up on place, like this place, from the Aboriginal history to the colonial history to the seats of power to now a place of learning and teaching. And so we're saying at ISEA 2024, come along and sit on country, remember history, remember place, and see where we are today, so that through our arts and cultural lens, we can imagine the future of what technology can bring us, what the digital arts can be into the future. We're looking forward to welcoming you to Nigten, to Brisbane, to sit on the banks of the Maiwar and understand how time has always been here, in our country, in our land. We look forward to seeing you next year.
What I might do now is just give you a little bit of a flavour of what the experience in Brisbane will be like. Every ISEA I've been to has been very different but very similar at the same time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of the key venues just so you can sort of see what the design and our curatorial thinking is for the program. The core of ISEA 24 will occur in the centre of the city. Orange is the convention centre where we'll have the academic symposium, and then all of the central venues are within walking distance. The powerhouse and then Super Ordinary can be accessed down the river. So the river is really a feature of the experience of ISEA. We have a number of other satellite venues which will host intensives and workshops. They will provide opportunity for more sort of immersive experiences at ISEA as opposed to the sort of brief engagements at galleries. And just to give you a picture, this is the convention centre. The symposium will occur on that top floor there, where there's a sort of the red lights. Very similar venue to this, quite a large circulation space, very close to our performing arts and cultural precinct, directly on the other side of the road. QUT will host the juried exhibition, or a component of the juried exhibition, at the QUT Art Museum. We will also be presenting work in and on Old Government House and using a large-scale visualisation facility for work at QUT. This is the Cube. We'll be commissioning and having a work presented on the Cube. We'll run workshops in this facility prior to and after the academic conference piece of the symposium. Across the river is the Griffith Art Museum, and they have one of the country's better collections of media arts. And I started with an anecdote about my colleague who was Tim Gruchy, and just as I left Brisbane, Griffith Art Museum was presenting a retrospective of the work of Tim Gruchy and his brother Mick Gruchy. So there is this thread of my experience with ISEA leading up to 2024. We'll also be running workshops at a venue just along the river called The Edge, which is part of the State Library of Queensland. They have wonderful fabrication facilities, computer labs, recording studios and things. A really nice place to be and work and create. And then up the top, Metro Arts is an art venue dedicated to emerging artists in Brisbane, and they will host part of the program as well. So these are the core venues. We have other partners we're working with, but this is sort of the core of the experience, and it's all really quite close in the city, walking distance. The powerhouse is just down the river, and I'm only showing a photo, we already saw it in the video, because travel along the river occurs on these city cats. They're, ferries relatively quickly, so as opposed to travelling around a large metropolis underground, travel around ISEA will be on a river, and so there will be quite a different experience getting to venues. The other piece about our signature venues, the Powerhouse will be one of our signature venues. We will host an opening event at the Powerhouse, is that each moment of ISEA will be very clearly choreographed, so the experience of attendees will be able to follow a bright thread through ISEA, with opportunities to either track off into something more immersive or to continue on with their interests. So that brings me to the theme and the call. We see the every when as a way of accessing notions of deep time, thinking and rethinking the way we build the metaverse, the way we work with technology and AI, the way we understand our place in the world, and how we ultimately can think about a different future. And we can imagine the future differently. And even hearing talks here, there is something about the spirit of the ISEA community which is invested in imagining a very, very different future to the one that we are heading headlong into. So we are calling for submissions that address the theme of every when, and that really explore these sort of sub-themes or notions of time, place, and story as they are interrelated and expressed through the different forms and mediums that the community work with. So I would really love to see you in Brisbane. It is a long way to go, and this is sort of, if you were flying over Brisbane, but it is worth the effort once in a lifetime. It's worth thinking about the world differently, and if you are going to make the journey, it is also worth thinking about the time. We've programmed ISEA at the latter half of June, so June 21 to 29, and June in Australia is a season of very significant festivals. So arriving in Sydney, prior to ISEA, there's the Vivid Festival. Arriving in Melbourne, there's Rising. Arriving in Hobart, there's Dark Mofo. All really significant festivals that could be part of a visit to Australia, not just to see ISEA. So we haven't announced any of our partnerships with those yet, but they're opportunities for people coming to do more than just ISEA and to experience cultural expression in the middle of winter on the other side of the planet when it's summer here. And for those worried about it being in winter, it will be warmer in Brisbane than it is outside here. I'm probably not wearing a jacket and a jumper during the days. If it gets below 10 degrees, I'm complaining. So I want to finish there and say thank you, and I do want to thank the board for having faith in us to deliver a program next year. I really want to thank our advisors, Everardo and Ricardo, and I do want to say a big shout out to Jeremiah, who's with us online, and thank him for all of his support up to this moment, and thank you to my wonderful team here.
So people can see this fantastic team when they want to even closer. Yeah, that's our director. No, that's okay. I'm going to borrow the microphone.
Oh, the microphone. Yeah.
This one doesn't seem to work. Thank you. Can you inform our audience, please, when the call will be open?
The website is live now. The call will be open after the closing of Paris.
perfect. So keep an eye on the call. We will, of course, publish the call on our websites and in social media as well. And of course, for those who cannot, for some reason, travel down to the next ISEA, it will be hybrid again. So that shouldn't be a reason to not submit work, because that's still possible. And also, thank you so much for joining us, and we're all looking forward to this edition. I just want to give the people in the room an opportunity if they have questions. Are there questions from the room? Yes, please.
Maybe we can hear a little bit of the co-workers, who you are and what you are doing, and that would be really nice. I think everybody heard what I said.
Hello. Yes, there we go. So, Anastasia, maybe that's a good question. Anastasia, can I give you the microphone and you pass it on?
Yeah, so hi everyone, we'll just do a quick introduction. My name is Anastasia Terina. I'm a senior lecturer in visual communication at QUT, and I'm part of academic committee. So I'm passing to Vanessa.
Vanessa Van Ooyen, so I'm the director of the university cultural institutions, the Art Museum and Old Government House, and manage the art collection that we have. So yes, and a curator. I've been a curator for many years.
Oh, you know me.
Kia ora, I'm Rewa Wright. I'm originally from Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm lucky to be working with this beautiful group of people from Meanjin. When I looked at the slides online and I saw the drone shots, I realized, wow, it's actually a stunning city. We do hope you can join us. We have some special initiatives such as our own country submissions. So we're specifically, as well as a general ISEA community, encouraging submissions from First Nations artists. And, you know, we're trying to engage a lot with the deep time and the deep history of the longest continuous culture in the world, and that's Indigenous Aboriginal culture.
Thank you. That's really nice to get to know the whole team. Big hands. Thank you. Are there more questions or suggestions from the audience? Yes, there's a microphone coming up.
Hi, Wesley Enoch is a great pusher of indigenous cultures and how to make their work or their knowledge relevant today. I heard him in Simam in 2019. But my question is, how does the team, the symposium, will address cultural diversity and enable people from First Nations travel to ISEA? Because, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for people from other countries in Africa, in Latin America, even in Asia to go to ISEA. I mean, ISEA has been always lacking issues around cultural diversity. And now it's great, we have 4 Latin Americans in the board, but I mean, this comes to the specific local organization. So I'm just asking if you already have ideas about how that will work.
I'll answer really briefly in that we've put a lot of thought into how we ensure that communities across Australia can travel to ISEA, but I'm going to pass to Rewa, who's been thinking about the international communities.
Thank you. Well, we did have some thoughts about making basically a free submission, free registration for First Nations people. And First Nations wouldn't need to actually travel to the ISEA because we have a remote network of Mozilla Hubs, culturally safe spaces, that we're going to be establishing. So people will actually be able to exhibit their artwork by remote in the Mozilla Hubs environment, and then the general public will be able to come into that. But no, for First Nations people coming through our own country submissions track, that registration will be free.
Thank you. And we're also really happy to hear that you are putting serious effort in establish this diverse objective. Thank you for the question. Are there more questions from the audience? No. Then, lovely to meet you again. Thank you for your presentation, and a big applause for the team from Brisbane, ISEA 2024. And please make sure you also engage with the new board members. Michelle is here as our new treasurer, and Tanya will be probably here as well later on this week. So welcome again. Thank you. Something went wrong here, but that's okay. The ISEA International Board is happy to announce that the proposal from Seoul, South Korea, has been accepted to organize ISEA 2025. Director So Sheng-ro from the Art Center Nabi and John Lee, Director of the Institute for Culture and Arts in Seoul National University, join us today online, and they will inform you about their plans. So big round of applause for the team that will host ISEA 2025 in Seoul.
짧게 전시에 대해서 소개를 드리면 우선 이번 전시 같은 경우에는 보시다시피 뭔가 인사가 안 한 것 같아요. 그래서 나와서
So these are all the locations they will using. It is in the city center of Seoul, but in different venues. So that's there is also in the university quite a lot of attention for STEAM, science, technology, and the arts and mathematics education.
Urchi Fantasia. So we involve a lot of subcultures and underground venues, like so. So we have enough interesting artists working with media, sound, all sorts of media in these places, and records. Okay. And academic clusters. A lot of universities in Seoul, in Korea in general, they have media art departments. Lots of students, faculty members, and they're all waiting for ISEA 2025 to happen here in Seoul. We're also working with KAIST, located in Daejeon. Seoul, everybody wants to come to Seoul these days. So we have all the new interesting cultures, and this is our traditional market. And of course, Korean food is great. Kimchi, you can try to make kimchi. So these are us who are main organizers. Art Center Nabi and Jun Lee here. He represents Institute of Art, Culture and Art. It's a new institute that will be built. Yeah, new building will be built in 2026. So he is really busy making that institution and also trying to change this prestigious yet a little rigid institution called Seoul National University. So this is us, me and June. We are working together. And these are important dates. We'll put out our website soon so that, they would know when the due dates are. In 2019, we organized ISEA 2019. And among the things that people liked were residencies. So we are also working with other partners, our partners, to organize as many residencies as we can handle. Thank you.
So much for your patience. It's really, really cool. I would like to take the opportunity, if there's questions, especially on the parts of the presentation that was without your voice, I'm just going to pass the microphone to Irandi, who has a question.
Just because they didn't have the time to talk about the theme that they develop, and it's a fantastic conceptions that they are working with. So if they can expand on that.
Yes. We were, page it over. You ever hear people say 21st century is a century of Asian century? And I wondered why, because I heard it many, many decades ago. And we're exploring actually that thing. Why is Asia relevant? Our old worldviews and philosophies are relevant at this day and age. And we're still working on that. Because there are not many scholars worldwide that knows both West and East, and trying to bridge the gap, to bridge. And especially there are a lot of Eastern scholars, but they cannot interpret. A lot of them are not really interested, but cannot jump to the 21st century with the technological century. So we're basically trying to make sense of what's happening now with all these, wonderful developments of AI and everything, and try to make sense of it from the with a speculum of our Eastern traditional ways of looking at the world and so on. So that's what we are mainly doing. So we don't know. It's a new journey for us as well. Although we are born and raised here, we were educated the Western way. So it's for us also. With us, it's East meets East. We look back, and we are also exploring the past, our ancient past that we do not have much knowledge of. So that's what it is.
Could we use the opportunity to also have some more voice information about the sub-themes?
Sure. Yes. First, the new world. Yes, we're not excluding, by the way, the Western new philosophies like new materialism and speculative realism and all that. but we're also trying to put in the old and forgotten worldviews, old philosophies, and diverse world philosophies, basically. So we haven't given up on the effort of making sense of the world and interpreting what's happening. So the first sub-theme will be mostly about that. What kind of perspectives are there? What other perspectives that we haven't explored yet? So that's the first thing. And the second theme, values and ethics, it's about humanities, right? Humanity cannot live without values and ethics. And we, here mainly we are questioning the existing, taken for granted values and ethics, and we were also trying to look at it in with a fresh perspective. Okay. Senses and emotions. Emotions are very interesting, and we all know we have emotions, but it's also the area that is less explored. We don't know, we don't know how it's made, and we don't know how it works. But more and more people, we know that emotions are important because people are removed from each other and also from themselves as well. So understanding our own emotions is also it can contribute to empathy and making the world a better place, more peaceful, and so on. So we look at emotions and senses in that with that perspective. Memories and visions, shaping time through writing, painting, capturing, recording. It's all about what we are doing. It's all about memories, and we look at how memories are constructed and how we can expand it. And we all know that it's now more and more memories are constructed with algorithms, and how we can maybe in this something in this all the conferences, how we could involve our bodies and other areas of our senses that are not yet explored. Okay, so those are our 4 sub-themes.
Thank you for this very, very nice and detailed description of the theme and the sub-theme. It sounds really exciting also to have this different sets of cultural views on things that you really seem to be encouraging. I'm just right now asking again to the room if there is any questions for the organizers in Seoul 2025. There is one coming up. Please state your name first, so that's easier for So-Ye Ro and Jolie to understand who's talking.
Yeah, Ellen. My name is Ellen. And I just want to know a little more about your vision for the residencies, and if you will situate the residencies within art and tech centers, and if you will have people who can support the programming and the technology within the residencies.
Mm-hmm. In 2019, we ran residencies. I think in total it was quite a lot of numbers, 18 of them. We worked with ACC, Asian Culture Center, in Gwangju. They run residencies, but we managed 9 out of 18, 9 from our from ISEA members, and it was quite fruitful. We for this 2025, we haven't really set who we will be working with, but there are some spaces that are already running residencies in Seoul, and of course ACC is there too. So so both technical, financial, and living arrangements can be made. We don't know exactly how many we can host, but we will subsequently announce it, the calls and everything.
So thank you for raising this question. Also keep in mind that the organizers of the future ISEA 2025 will liaison with headquarters, and if people from specific countries need to have a specific requirement, letters or whatsoever, contact headquarters and we can see what we can do with your country of origin to see if there is funding opportunities or whatsoever. So is there more questions from the audience? Any more? No? Okay, so thank you so much for your patience again and your presentation. We are looking forward to the next steps in your development of ISEA 2025 in Seoul. And of course, we hope that you will be in Brisbane next year to present and share your full plan for ISEA 2025. So thanks again, and a big hand of applause for both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that beautiful live presentation and audio. Yeah, now we want to continue talking to you because we have audio, but we will close down this annual meeting and enjoy the rest of the ISEA 2023 in Paris edition. And thank you to the audience and the audience online for your patience, and see you next year on the annual meeting. Thank you.